Hello, welcome to Visual Radio Live. Here from the wonderful brand new WinCAM studios. And we're going to call our guest right off the bat.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, Kevin. Kevin Russo, my co-host, is here.
Hello, sorry for the delay.
Hello.
Is this Hirsh Gardner?
It certainly is.
Hirsh Gardner of the band New England. Live on Visual Radio tonight.
That would be me. It's a pleasure to be on Visual Radio. How's it going, Joe?
Good, you sound nice and crisp and clear. This is excellent, Hirsh.
Very good.
You'll be in the studio in person, right?
I plan on it.
Great. Great.
I'm going to bring my lunch with me.
Well, you can do that. We have fun here.
We can just stay all day and party.
We do, but we're on the air live on Thursday night, 8 to 9 p.m.
Oh, terrific, terrific.
And you have a new studio in Cambridge?
Yes, I do. I put together a studio with a dear friend of mine, Steve Baxter. You might remember Steve was the bass player, lead singer for the group Shy Boy. And so I have my home studio, which I've been working out of for many, many years. And Steve wanted to put together a studio of his own. So we started off very, very small. And the project grew into, a very, I guess you might say expensive, $100,000 studio. We hired Michael Blackmere to come in and design the room, and we have a very high-end Pro Tools setup with all of the goodies, and so I primarily spend most of my time between my home studio and the Cambridge studio now.
Now, you and I used to work at a studio on Putnam, which is gone. You're close to Putnam Street?
Right around the corner, actually.
And I got some sad news from Putnam Street. I don't know if you heard about the passing of a country legend. John Lincoln Wright died on Sunday.
John Lincoln Wright passed away. Yeah, I read that just the other day. Had you? Obviously, you met him several times over the years, didn't you?
He was on our show for 2 hours. I have 2 hours with John Lincoln Wright.
Oh man.
And Marshall Simpkin from the club. I alerted Marshall. He didn't know. And Joe Tortelli, the writer, who wrote him up in Goldmine. So we have this wonderful tape of JLW.
Yeah.
Just talking, just an interview.
That's terrific. That was, I met John, several times over the years. I mean, years ago, I used to see him play at, all the local clubs, Brandy's, Bunratty's, all the different clubs, and he was just a wonderful guy and very, very polite and, an honorable guy. He'd be sadly missed.
Yeah, that's it, Hirsh. He was just a wonderful guy and just really sweet human being.
Yeah, he was a great guy.
It's just, we lost Hubert Sumlin and Howard Tate,
Yep.
Sylvia Robinson, Dobie Gray, and Moogie Klingman. This is like 6. It's too much.
Yeah, I know. Well, but you and I are still here, and we're still rocking.
Yes, and next week there's a show with some great rockers. One of the Dictators is playing at Passim, right?
My friend Scott Kempner, former of the Dictators, and also the Del Lords. The Del Lords had a big hit single on MTV a while back, Judas Kiss. About my record label that I have, it's GB Music.
Gary Boris, yep.
And we're based out of New York, and we've been releasing titles for years and years and years. Actually, the label started with my partner Gary Boris and I. We wanted to release some New England stuff, and we made some inquiries to Warner Brothers, and they said, "Well, you'll have to buy the rights." So we did. We bought the rights to New England, and there was a label in Japan, Marquee Avalon, that released three albums that we had. In Asia, and then GB Music, our own label, we released them all here in the United States. So that was the beginning of the record company. And since then, we've worked with, oh my God, everybody. Stars, The Remains, which was Marky and Dee Dee Ramone, 8084. We've released, of course, my solo albums were released.
You say plural? Because I know I got one of them from Japan.
Well, I have a couple of songs that I've released since then, just as singles. Also, Under Fire, 707, 8084, and of course, we just released 3 titles for Elliot Murphy and Tenement Angels, which was, we're talking about Scott Kempner now, so we released the latest re-release that we did was Scott Kempner's Tenement Angels, which I remastered, and it was just a joy to do that because the songs were so great. And there was also another song that Scott had me mix and remaster, and we put that on Scott's record as well. And by the way, that's also available in vinyl and CD.
Wow, that's amazing. So you guys are pressing vinyl as well as the CDs.
Yeah.
And Hirsh, when you master them, do you master differently for the vinyl than you do for the CD?
No, not on the Scott Kempner record. That was the first one that we did, and I just submitted both. I mean, they were slightly different track order on the vinyl, and I think we put a bonus track on the vinyl. But no, I really didn't do anything different.
Now that's odd.
We love the sound of the mastering that we did, so we just put it on both. They sound great.
There's usually the bonus track on the CD. You guys flipped it and put it on the vinyl?
Yeah.
That's funny. You're changing the way things are done.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's cool. So now you're going to go to Passim next week.
Well, Passim is, yes, Thursday the 15th. Anyone who's listening, please come by. There's going to be, a lot of folks there. We're inviting all our celebrity friends from the Boston area. And Elliot Murphy is headlining the show, and Scott is opening. So I would say it's probably a co-bill, but it's just fabulous that we're going to have both those guys in town at the same time.
It's a great underground bill because Elliot Murphy came out of that whole Modern Lovers kind of thing.
He sure did. He sure did. I mean, Elliot goes back to, I think he released his first album, Aqua Show in '73, same year Springsteen released. And Springsteen's actually played on some of Elliot's albums. Those guys are friends. Elliot, had a great career here in the States for years, and then discovered Europe and moved to France, where he actually lives right now. So he's back here in the States touring behind the 3 GB music releases that we just put out. And he's got his whole band with him. It's going to be a great night at Passim next week on Thursday.
Wonder if he'll do Diamonds by the Yard.
He sure will.
He will, all right.
Yes, he will.
It's a great song.
Yeah, it's a great song. It's a
great
song.
title.
I mean, I got introduced to Elliot because of the, I remembered the song Rock and Roll, Rock and Roll, Rock and Roll from years ago, and Last of the Rock and Roll Stars, which is his big hit single back then. But of course, while mastering the 3 different CDs that I just did, it was just great listening to all these tracks. He's a wonderful, wonderful songwriter. It's good to hear.
Now, do you roll out of bed and do stuff at home and then take it down to the studio in Cambridge?
As a matter of fact, that's what I'm doing right now.
The John Lennon thing, he rolls out of bed and does instant karma.
Yeah, well, yeah, must be nice. Well, I'm no John Lennon, but I know one thing about me. I work real hard. So I'm actually mixing one of my songs right now,
which is called
"If You Need to Talk." And it's a song about some folks need a little bit of help and they need to talk to somebody, and it could be, we were talking about people passing away. It could be about if somebody passes away and you don't talk to somebody about it, you hold it all inside. That's not a good thing. There are other people out there who are, have problems, emotional, physical, mental, and they're not talking to people about it. So the song touches on a little bit of that. And also, you always try to use the metaphor behind a song about relationships between 2 people.
Sure.
So you could be, the song could be about, you and your partner, or it could also be about, you and your best friend. Hey, listen, man, if you need to talk, come and see me. So it's anyway. I'm doing that here, and I'm sort of setting up my mix here, and absolutely, I'm going to throw it on a disc.
Sounds like a good title for a film soundtrack, If You Need to Talk.
Yeah, Which that's actually, boy, Joe, you are a brilliant interviewer, because that is a great segue into. I just had a meeting with John Butcher, who, of course, for 800 years.
Butcher will be coming into this studio. I'm psychic. I see my crystal ball. I see John Butcher and Charlie Farron coming into the studio.
I think you should have them there, man. They would rock the place.
We've already got them booked without a date. So the crystal ball is there. They're coming in, and you are too.
Well, that's great. Well, John, yeah, it's funny. John came in, called me up the other day and said, let's do some stuff. And so I, invited him down to the Cambridge studio, and he brought in 4 or 5 songs that are older songs of his that he wants to redo with me producing. And what we're going to be doing those is we're going to be presenting those for film and TV. So that's another interesting project that I'm about to embark on. It's always great to work with John, because he's just such a professional.
I have a producer up in Haverhill, Hirsh, Jay LaFond, at the Haverhill TV station.
Yeah.
So we went to TCAN to see the Vanilla Fudge and Farron and Butcher.
Ah, my old friend Carmine.
Right, he was up at Tupelo last night,
Yeah.
Carmine. So anyways, and Jay was up there, he got the first song. Carmine let him do the first song of the set last night.
Oh,
So,
no.
yeah, so we got that on tape, but we're taping Farron and Butcher, and the club says, you can't tape Charlie Farron. And I'm like, I can't tape Charlie Farron? Do you know who you're talking to? So we finally tracked down Charlie, and he said, of course Joe can tape. So we got 2 cameras, and then Charlie's wife got a camera. So these clubs have to be forward thinking, because now Charlie has all 3 cameras, and he's mixing it at home. And you know how important this is, Hirsh.
Oh, it's totally important. I mean, look what's going on Facebook, and I just posted a couple of songs on my site, and just like one of my a song from my solo album I just posted the other day that a lot of people had not heard, and I'm getting some terrific response from it, and people are being reintroduced to to me and my my songwriting and my voice. It's funny. Barry Goudreau's wife, Connie, sent me a note going, Hirsh, what a great song. Who's singing? I sent her back, and I said, I am. And she said, oh, my God, what a great voice. So thank you, Connie, for that.
You know I loved your first solo record. I really did. And you know me, if I didn't like it, I would have told you point blank.
You would have, man, and I appreciate that.
But you played it for me at Daddy's Junkie Music in Boston. You played it for me on those beautiful speakers, and I said, wow, Hirsh is onto something. And I'd really love to see my friends doing well. And you are doing well.
Well, I'm working hard, man. I'm working hard. I've got, just a bunch of different things going on. I've got the Brooks Young Band, young guys, really great guys. I mean, these guys have been playing with everybody, like Johnny Lang and Brad Whitford joins them on stage. And we're going to be doing a couple of songs in the studio. And Brad Whitford's going to be joining us on guitar for at least one of the songs, which is killer. And then, of course, I've got the John Butcher thing going on. I'm also working with an artist named Sarah Thompson, amazing blues singer. I guess if you have to say who she's like, she's a cross between Adele and Joss Stone.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean, and she's just smoking, and she's working with guitar player Billy Gear, and Billy's been around for years and years.
Billy Gear worked with me for years. He's a dear friend.
Oh, Billy's a monster, man. He's
Billy worked with Jimmy Miller, of course.
Yeah.
Hey, my co-host sitting next to me, he's my Ed McMahon, Kevin Russo. Kevin doesn't realize that Hirsh and I were hanging out at the Rat back in, 77, Hirsh, 76? Oh, yeah. So you and I go back.
We do, man.
Almost 20, 30... 34, 35, we've known each other 36 years or so.
Yeah.
Isn't that ridiculous?
Well, do you remember, you were probably there the night the Talking Heads played the Rat.
I think I have it on tape. You want to master it?
Yeah, Blondie.
I met Blondie down there.
Yeah.
Elvis Costello met him down there.
I mean,
it was a scene.
It was a great scene, man. And it was when rock and roll was young and vibrant, and it still is. The kids today are coming in, and they've got all the piss and vinegar that we had back then.
Didn't you walk in with Steve Tyler one night? I think I saw you walking in with Steve.
Yeah, I mean, we were hanging out. It's funny. I was over at their Kent Street apartment one night with a friend of mine, Peter Stahl.
Aerosmith.
And I'm walking down the stairs to the of course, a basement apartment, and everybody's like just passed out on the floor, and I tripped over some guy, and that was the first time I met Joe.
Perry?
Yes.
That's too funny.
So he looks at me, and goes, "Hey, what are you doing, man?" I say, "Hey, what's going on?"
But people don't realize it because they're such megastars. I used to go see them at the Box, which is that cinema.
Oh yeah, right.
And there was Aerosmith. They were just a local band. They were opening for the Kinks at the Orpheum. It was great. No, at the Wang Center.
It was like I used to go see them. We used to do a double bill with them at Katie's Sunday afternoon.
New England?
Well, no, this was way before New England.
Oh, what was your band?
Crossfire, and Berkshire. That was probably in the early 70s.
One of the first records I ever promoted was you and John Butcher with Ava Electris.
Oh my God, yeah.
Remember that? We got to master that EP.
Yeah.
I got a copy hanging around just because it's history. It's you and John.
Yeah, it is. It is. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, I still get that. But that was one of the first records I ever promoted. I got it in Billboard.
Oh, that's great.
God bless the late Roman Kozak. He reviewed Ava for me.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was a pick-to-click you were on. That's pretty good, Yeah, we got a review in the Globe, so that record did well,
That was a fun time. It was a fun time. There's a lot of great stuff going on, and
it's not like that anymore, Hirsh. You talk about the good old days. We didn't realize what we had, huh?
Well, what we had was something that was real. I mean, when you're living the moment, it sometimes passes you. I mean, you don't realize the history at that point because it's not history. You're living the moment. But I'm telling you, it's you'd bump into people like Rick Ocasek and Ben Orr, and then you'd bump into Joe Perry and Steve Tyler and Jay Giles and the guys in New England
and Jonathan Richman and
it was a crazy scene. It was a great time.
And we had a lot of fun performing. I mean, you and I got to rock the Rat.
Absolutely.
I climbed up through the ceiling. I don't think you did that.
No, I never did that.
You were too busy working on stage.
No, I was working on stage or passed out underneath the bar, man. That was my role.
I was crawling through the ceiling while Hirsh was banging the drums, see? But not at the same time, Kevin. It would be different nights. He'd be on the drums, I'd be in the ceiling.
I think New England actually played the Rat, like in an unannounced gig in between one of our tours. I bumped into Jimmy Harold, and we were just shooting the breeze. I said, "Hey, Jimmy, why don't you let New England play?" And he says, "You guys would play here?" And I said, "Yeah, we do it for a laugh. Just we'll come in and we'll just bring in." So we brought in like the semi tractor trailer truck and set up all our gear. There was barely room for the crowd, and it was an unannounced gig. And as I walked down the street to the gig that night, people were lined up all the way down to that friggin' hotel down near the Store Drive. It was wild.
You guys were happening. I went to the Paradise a couple of months ago because my friend Steve Hawley, you must know Steve Hawley, the drummer.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He plays with Ian Hunter, so they called me and said, "Hey, we're in town." And I never go out anymore, Hirsh. But it was, Steve Hawley, Ian Hunter, so I went out on a Friday night.
Yeah.
And the manager of the club told the girl at the box office he used to book this place. It was funny because this young girl who wasn't even around when we were hanging out there, she knew who I was. I thought that was kind of cool.
Very cool.
This 22-year-old girl's like, "I know who you are." I said, "Oh, good. Give me my tickets." So anyways, I go in, and they give me the tour. They've renovated the room. It's beautiful. Have you been in?
I forget the last time I was there. I might have been a few years ago. I went there to see Vince Gill, who's, by the way, one of my idols. But actually, I think I might have been there one time after that.
It's all renovated. It's beautiful. They moved it. They moved the stage so the pole isn't right in your face anymore.
Oh, that's good.
That's a good thing. And I stayed up on the balcony writing my review because it's different these days. It's just different for me. But Ian was great.
Oh, he's a monster.
He is, and he can still pack a room. And he did from Brain Capers. Oh, what did he do? Not Death Will Be Your Santa Claus, the other one, but Brain Capers, Mott the Hoople. It was just awesome. The Moon Upstairs. Oh, what a great album. He did as an encore, The Moon Upstairs by Mott the Hoople. It was just great. And Saturday gigs. I had fun.
Oh, that's nice, man. Well, that's I mean, that's the kind of guys. That's the kind of band that you want to see in a club like that. You know, it just brings back. It's nostalgic. It brings back good memories. But once again, I'm out there all the time, seeing the new bands, and I'm happy to report that there's still some great players out there. These young kids are coming up, and where we started playing music when we were 13, 14, 15, the kids nowadays are starting music because we are the parents, and we're letting our kids know how cool it is to play. And these kids are starting when they're like 2, 3, 4, 5 years old, literally.
I must correct you, Hirsh, and I'm sad to say we're the grandparents, Hirsh.
Well, I'm not a grandparent yet.
I know, but it's like the third generation of the kids coming up now,
But I swear, these kids are just monster players.
No, we're the parents, and Peter Wolf and Jonathan, they're the grandparents.
They're the grandparents.
Yeah, we're the parents. You're right, I stand corrected.
So,
So I might come down and see, but see, I got the show. What time is the gig next Thursday?
7 o'clock, and Joe, you got to come.
Well, I'm on air at 8 to 9.
Oh, all right. Well, it'd be great to see you if you can make it. Maybe you can have your sidekick cover for you for an hour.
Well, the show's only an hour.
Oh.
And this is my world, Hirsch. This is where I am now,
Well, you know what you could do? You could come over to my studio, and what we'll do is we'll tape an hour show.
Yep.
And you'll just get somebody to push the button, and then the show will run, and you will be partying with me. And as a matter of fact, while we tape the show, you can tell people that, hey, this is not really happening right now, but it is, because I'm not here. I'm over at Passim with my friend Hirsh, watching Scott Kempner and Elliot Murphy. And that could be a taped show. What a concept.
That might be a plan. I don't know,
Well, I learned that from John Garabedian. John's been doing that for years.
I understand what's this Sunday night something? What's the show, the Sunday night?
Oh, isn't it his top 10, Sunday night top 10 thing that he does worldwide now?
Yeah. Does he still do it out of Kiss 108?
Well, I think it's syndicated to.
I mean, he probably does it out of his house.
Oh, he definitely does, yeah.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? February 19th, we're having a record expo in Dedham. You know, that old 33, 34-year-old record expo.
Oh, yeah.
So if you want to come down and be one of our special guests, you can put your records out and meet people.
I think that's a great idea.
I'm going to send you an invite, and it's Randolph Music's 34th anniversary record expo. They've been going on for years and years, and sometimes Ken Shelton comes out, Gary Summers.
Oh yeah, I love all those. You know what? I'm gonna talk to Gary Boris, my partner, and what we'll do is we'll set up like a GB Music booth, so we'll have all of the records and CDs that we've put out over time, including all the New England stuff and all the Ramones stuff, and my solo records.
Oh, it'd be great, yeah. Oh, that'd be awesome.
I don't know if I mentioned, but we put out a couple of Sylvain CDs.
I love Sylvain.
He's great. So we've got a lot of stuff. So definitely send me an invite to that. I want to come out and do it.
Oh, absolutely.
Beautiful, man.
And I got to see your studio. So, we've taken a lot of your time up tonight.
Let me get back to my mix. It's been fabulous talking to you, Joe, as always.
It's important for us to reconnect. I'm glad we did.
Me too.
I'm going to get reviews up of your boys before the show. I promise to.
That'd be great, man.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Hirsch.
All right, Joe. Have a great night.
Yep, bye. Hirsh Gardner. I owe him some reviews. They send me records, and I've just been so busy. Billy Gear, old friend of mine. Isn't that a fascinating trip back to my youth in the nightclubs in Boston? Hirsh Gardner is a drummer from New England. They had a big hit called Don't Ever Want to Lose Ya. Great, great song. One of my favorite songs of the Boston rock and roll era. And so we'll have Hirsh in here. We'll have John Fannin, the singer of New England, come in. And I just don't get out to clubs anymore, Kevin. I'm all clubbed out. Yeah, I've spent a couple of thousand nights in nightclubs. Playing nightclubs and being someone who appreciates music. So I'm in the audience, or videotaping, or audio taping, or performing on stage. My life, a lot of the clubs are gone, too. A lot of the fun clubs that we used to hang out at are gone. So with the Cadies he talked about, I saw the New York Dolls there. I saw Bulldog. I had a lot of fun nights down at Katie's. That's gone. It's now like the Gap in Kenmore Square. And the Rathskeller, where Hirsh would come down with Aerosmith. And Blondie would hang out, and Elvis Costello, and all these now legend Talking Heads were all just hanging out there. The Rat is now part of that Hotel Commonwealth, 528 Com Ave. So times change. A lot of the clubs in Boston that I used to frequent are gone, but the Paradise is renovated. Who's calling in? Johnny Byers.
How are ya?
Hey, welcome to the show, John Byers.
Back. I know you've been swamped the last couple of weeks, so we haven't talked. But I was listening to your last guest on the phone, and he mentioned something which is tied in with sports. Do you know what today is?
Today is December 7th, or December 8th.
Did you know what happened 31 years ago today?
No.
Well, think back to the Beatles.
Oh, it was John Lennon.
Yes, and the reason why I bring that up because it ties into the sports scene here in Boston, because when that happened, the Patriots were playing on the Monday Night Football game of the week against the Miami Dolphins, and Howard Cosell had to make the announcement on the game of John Lennon being murdered. And 2 weeks earlier, 2 weeks before that, the Patriots were on Monday Night Football in New York playing the Giants, and he had interviewed John Lennon in the booth at Giant Stadium.
Wow.
It's very interesting.
I forgot that John Lennon had died 31 years ago today. I was in the recording studio in Watertown,
Yep.
recording a band called The Runes, R-U-N-E-S, and the songs we were working on, 2 songs. One was Do or Die,
Right.
and we got the phone call that John Lennon was killed, and it was horrifying. It just ruined everything.
Yes.
It really ruined everything, and it really makes one think about this cruel, brutal world.
Yes.
It's a brutal world, Johnny.
Yes. Well, I know we got a bit of sports to talk about. Of course, the winter meetings just ended today, and the Red Sox really didn't do much except re-sign David Ortiz, and I think it's going to be very tough. I think if you want to know, I think the World Series winner out of, or at least the team that's going to come out of the American League to go to the World Series are the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim with the moves they made today.
Well, that's why they make moves, because they want to get fans into the seats and buy tickets.
Yes, and of course the Celtics schedule came out on Tuesday, and very interesting as I was perusing it. I know the interesting thing about this year's schedule is every team, including the Celtics, are going to play an inordinate number of back-to-back games, and in one case for the Celtics, at the end of the season, they're going to have to play back-to-back-to-back games, 3 games in a row. And just to show you how tough the schedule is going to be, I just picked out a couple of games just to give you an idea. In March, they have to go to California to play the Lakers and the Clippers on the 11th and 12th of March, and then fly back to the East Coast to play 1 game in Atlanta, then go back out to the West Coast, and they play the Sacramento Kings on the 16th and the Denver Nuggets on the 17th. So they're basically going to be going from coast to coast in like a 48 to 78 hour span just to play basketball. And they're saying right now that this could be a changing year because of this strike in one situation. The younger teams may have a better shot at getting into the playoffs and possibly winning a championship, because these young kids want to get out there and play every day, and they don't get as tired as the older players, especially, for instance, like the Celtics. They have age on them, especially with Kevin Garnett, who came out of high school, and in August of this year, he will turn 35 years old. Now, you would say that 35 is still young.
That's not old. 35?
Well,
No.
As far as NBA age, it's old because when you come out of high school, not having played college, you've only played high school baseball, and then you jump right to the NBA, and you've been playing since. Your body's taken a heavy pounding through the years.
We take a heavy pounding here at WinCAM. Hey, Johnny,
Yes.
Kevin Russo, my co-host, won an award last night at our party. What did you win, Kevin?
Kevin, how are you? Congratulations.
Thanks.
What did you win, Kevin? He can't remember his award. Most hardworking producer?
Most improved.
Most improved producer here at WinCAM.
Yes.
You know what we're going to run, Johnny, is Kevin might work with me on this. I've got the Rob Gronkowski show that I did at the middle school. So we didn't air the full thing yet, so I've got a whole lecture that he did with the kids. And we have another lecture he did up in Haverhill. So I have to get the Haverhill tape and put a full hour with Rob because he's so big right now.
Funny you should say that because, what was it, Tuesday, Gronk, as we like to call him here in Massachusetts, did a shot on the Jim Rome is Burning show, being interviewed by Jim Rome. And
On what channel?
on ESPN2 at 4:30 in the afternoon, and they did about a 5-10 minute interview with him, and he basically said there is no way in hell that I was coming. Remember the game where he concussed himself tumbling over in the end zone after catching the touchdown?
Yes.
He said there was no way I was ever coming out of that game. They wanted me to get out of that game and go get checked. I said, no, you're not getting me out of this game at all. We need this game. And the funny thing is, as we talk about that, you remember they played Indianapolis and almost let that game get away.
Well, they didn't let that game get away. It was no way they were going to let that game get away.
Oh, Belichick has learned his lesson, evidently, because he said today in an interview on the radio that under no circumstances will he be taking the starters out late in the game. What he's going to do is he's going to give them time early on in the game, in and out.
Sure, because, he did that because he knew he could do that with Indianapolis. You can't do it with any other teams. But this is the worst team in all of football this year, so you can do it. And he was gauging, and he wanted to see how well they could do. I think he did it was a brilliant move. I would have done the same thing.
Interestingly enough, they almost had another game moved for prime time, but Bob Kraft absolutely denied the NFL from doing that. They wanted to move the game in 2 weeks, which now is still a 4:15 game against Denver. They wanted to move it to 8 o'clock because of the Tim Tebow thing.
And why wouldn't Kraft like that? Oh, because it's an inconvenience to the fans.
It's an inconvenience to the fans. No, it's not so much an inconvenience to the fans. It's also an inconvenience to CBS because that's a CBS game, and CBS would have balked at it because there were no decent games for them to carry.
Right, that is going to be a big one with Tebow, but I think we will win. Kevin, are you a football fan? What sports do you like?
I like outside sports mostly.
What's outside?
Like,
Baseball?
no, more like whitewater rafting and all those.
Whitewater rafting,
Or like rock climbing and
rock climbing,
Range.
skydiving and all that.
skydiving.
Oh, Jesus.
And all that
You
stuff.
couldn't pay me enough to jump out of a plane.
Well,
Yeah.
So how's the new apartment? You like it?
Oh, right now, yeah, I'm in my apartment right now, but I hope to be getting my own apartment very soon.
Yeah, but I went by your house and it looks really nice. So it looks like you got some good digs there. Verizon should be coming into Medford, people. So people watching us tonight, Medford will probably be getting Verizon in January, February.
Yeah, that's pretty good because I know I had cable in a couple of days ago to fix my internet, and I told the guy that I was thinking of going to Verizon when I get my own place, and he said, why would you do that? And I said, because basically they have certain things that you don't have, while you have other things that they don't have, so it's basically a wash.
So you missed the party last night. Kevin, how was the party? Tell John.
It was good.
It was packed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard. You told me last night.
We had Ron Cox from Malden Access Television here. Ron is on his way to an island off of Puerto Rico tonight at midnight.
Wow.
I think he has a new girlfriend, but I didn't ask. But suddenly he's taken off to a Puerto Rican island, so it sounds like he has a new girlfriend.
Yeah.
And so good for Ron. He's a great guy, but it was really neat because we have a brand new studio here, John. So we got to show off.
You brought me down there.
Oh no, you haven't seen it. You saw.
I'm still working on it, and it looked pretty good when I saw it. And
wait till you see it now. It's unbelievable.
I don't know what it looks like now, but it must have changed a lot since I saw it.
I'd like to bring a good friend of yours over here to see the place.
And who would that be?
Mike.
Uh-oh, we know who that is.
Mike, we're on a first name basis with Mike. Michael McGlynn.
The commissar.
The commissar, because his good friend Richard Howard is now going to be the town manager in Winchester.
Wow.
The former Malden mayor, so McGlynn's friend is here. You know, Ron was telling us that Richard Howard is a great guy, knows what he's doing with the school system, so Winchester is going to have a great school system with Richard Howard here. So congratulations, Richard. Welcome to Winchester.
Oh, maybe you can set something up where Richard comes in and the mayor comes in and joins you on the show, and maybe
the mayor and the town manager, and we can show Mayor McGlynn how Real Access TV works.
Real Access is correctly run, right?
So you know. Anyway, let's see. What other sports news? What did you think about the Bruins not putting Tyler Seguin? Is that his name? Tyler Seguin. Sagan in. I thought that was insanity.
Well, I don't watch the game, so I really don't. I don't know. I mean,
He skipped a few breakfasts and missed some meetings, and they punished him.
Well, hey, I mean, that's the way. I mean, remember, there's a thing called kangaroo court in the sports, and you don't follow the rules of the team. You got to be swiped up across the backside a bit to be taught a lesson, because that's how everyone before you started. You either follow the rules or you're gonna get hit.
All right, Johnny. Well, we got to get you down here so you can work on your show with Larry Lucchino and Steve Pagliuca, and Jeff Dearman will work with you. So you know
what happens. I mean, I'm still working on things up here. I mean, we have the holidays coming up, and of course, I have a birthday coming up at the end of the month. So I'll be 1 year older than I am right now, 44.
And what day is that?
December 30th.
All right, so well, if we're here on a Thursday on December 30th, what day of the week is it?
I believe that is I'll tell you in a minute. Let me just look at my calendar, and let's see.
It's the Friday, the 29th. We'll have the birthday celebration for Johnny on the 29th, people. So send your cards and letters to John Byers, our calling co-host.
And I'll catch up with you next week. If not, whenever we can get together, we'll get together.
All right, Johnny. Thanks for calling in.
Yep.
Bye. The show just keeps rolling along. It's 8:38 and 7 seconds, 8 seconds, 9 seconds. What do you think of the new... Oh, so that says 8:38, and in the control room it says 20:38, which is 12 hours ahead. Military time. So we're in the 20th hour, going to the 21st hour. We're in the 21st hour. We're the 20 plus. We're in the 20th hour and a half. We're well into the 21st hour. On their way. So if I have this chocolate, can I go to the gym later? I need the gym.
I can't wait till it snows.
I don't like snow.
I have a big plan.
And that is?
That is,
Talk to the audience. I want to get my voicemail.
My plan is to make a snow sculpture more than an ice sculpture. So I'm going to probably pile up snow and, you know, make something out of it. I don't know what yet. And I do a light show at my house on Fridays and Saturdays, and try to do it Sundays. So, yeah, that's what I'm doing. It's pretty amazing, and I like it. You know, I think I'm the only one that actually does the music. I synchronized my Christmas lights to the music for Christmas music. So
And you blast it outside?
I blasted outside.
Uh-oh.
So the street has like a Christmas theme to it, but I'm gonna pile up snow, and I am probably gonna make something out of it, and actually use my sculpting skills and my art skills towards it, and sculpt probably when I forgot the name of it. I'm probably gonna do something with the snow. I'm definitely gonna sculpt some stuff that will be pretty cool.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Sculpting with the snow.
Yeah, I never know that you could do that until I looked up online. So it gave me some ideas for this year, and I'm like psyched. So let it snow.
No, I'm not just. I don't need to shovel right now. I got things I have to do, places to go, TV shows to edit, stuff to post on YouTube.
Don't let the snow get you.
Huh?
Don't let the snow get you. I love the snow. I love everything about it. It's
Huh.
white, furry, and I do a good job with what I do. So, and I definitely want to do this, and I'm actually excited of doing it too. It will be pretty cool when I do the finishing touch. So,
Delicious Hershey's from the party. Some of the party favors were over there. Tempting and delicious here on Visual Radio. Well, I listened to some Alice Cooper today, and we will have Steve Hunter from Alice Cooper's new album, Welcome to My Nightmare, with Welcome to, because it's a sequel. So I've been listening to that. Steve Hunter. Jerry Ross produced a lot of my favorite records. Sonny, of course, and Spanky in our gang, one of our guests. Keith, you know what? We got to have Keith on. 98.6 is his big hit record that Jerry did. Uncle Jerry's going to get me in touch with Keith, and we'll have him on as a guest some coming week. I talked to Rob Fraboni. I left a voicemail, actually. We'll have Rob Fraboni on to talk about Layla. And we'll talk about Some Girls, the Rolling Stones' new album, which is an old album that they re-released. And lots of stuff to talk about. Lots of things coming up. Guests. Maybe we'll call Frank Dell'Istrito at the last 5 minutes of the show just to touch base with him and see if we can talk about movies. Are you going to the movies this weekend? No?
no.
I think I'm going to see Mission Impossible 4. So I go to the previews because I write these movies up. There's Mission Impossible 4. There's another big one like that. There's two big action movies coming out, and that's one of them. So Tom Cruise, very smart move on his part because I have not enjoyed his movies of late, but he does have a good handle on the Mission Impossible franchise, although 2 and 3 weren't the greatest. Did you see any of them? The first one's very good.
No.
A little grisly, very grisly, but there's some good moments to it. I love studying movies, and I love that on YouTube. There are portions of some of my favorite movies. Ghost, Double Jeopardy, Clint Eastwood's Absolute Power, which is about a president having an affair with the wife of the guy that put him into the presidency. E.G. Marshall playing this guy in his 80s with this drop-dead gorgeous wife who's in her 20s. So why she's fooling around with Gene Hackman, who is like a fossil like her husband, I don't get that in the plot, but, well, he's the president of the United States. And she gets murdered at the very beginning of the film, and Clint Eastwood watches it all from inside the vault. But, you know, at home I'll start reciting some of the lines from the movies before the people say them, and my roommate will say, "What?" Because he knows I know them by heart, you know. So I just like studying film and how the camera angles and a great storyline and great delivery. Wilford Brimley, The Firm, I get paid to be suspicious about things when there's nothing to be suspicious about. You like that? I get paid to be suspicious when there's nothing to be suspicious about. Or Gene Hackman in Absolute Power. Gifted man. He's talking about Clint Eastwood.
I have watched a really interesting movie last week.
What was your movie?
Tuesday.
What was it? Tuesday night.
It was Frozen.
And who's in it? I don't know it.
I don't know the actors' names. I wasn't paying attention to the case.
Frozen. Was it about a dinosaur frozen?
No, it's about three friends went on a ski resort, and they were on now they're stuck. It's on a Sunday night, so the ski resort doesn't open till Friday. So now
Cannibalism.
no, it's mostly they're up in the sky lift. And pretty much the guy left, so he shut everything down. And pretty much they're up there in the cold on the mountain. And you have to see it. I can't give it away, so.
And I probably won't.
It's not as scary.
Boston legend. See if he's around tonight. Do you know why I picked the phone up? I don't want the viewers figuring out the phone numbers.
You told me that.
Yes. Very clever.
Hi, this is David Bieber. I'm not available right now. If you leave a message, I'll give you a call back immediately.
I'll record your message at the tone. When you're finished, hang up or stay on the line for further options.
You're live on visual radio. Well, actually, your voice message is live on visual radio. You're not. Did you get the autographs? See, I get autographs from our guests, and I give them to him. So that's about the 15th message I left for my friend. Anyways, I just want to know if he got the autographs. He's probably on vacation somewhere. Or there'll be an email. Because I'm sure he has his email wherever he is. Maybe he's in the Puerto Rican island with Ron Cox. Maybe, what are we doing here in Boston? We should be like traveling, visual radio on the road, live. So last night while we had our Christmas party, my producer, Jay LaFond, was up at Tupelo Hall in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, maybe, with Vanilla Fudge. So that's the third Vanilla Fudge show this year. I taped them at the Regent Theater. We saw them at TCAN, and then Jay was up there with them in Tupelo Hall. Mark Stein will be another guest. Forgot about that. Mark Stein from Vanilla Fudge. I said phone in because they couldn't come in here yesterday for a studio interview. He has a book coming out, so he's going to talk about the life and times of Vanilla Fudge. Our president here at WinCAM, Melody Wing, is a big Vanilla Fudge fan. Do you like Vanilla Fudge? The ice cream? The band?
I just like vanilla ice cream.
I like yogurt. Yogurt ice cream. So anyway, you can paint whatever you want on our screen. We took the visual radio logo down tonight. Thank you for reminding me, Kevin. And
It's a smiley face. There you go.
let's see, we've got about 6 minutes left. So should we call Della Streeto, or do you have anything else to say?
I don't know. I kind of have a couple things, but
All right, say what?
I don't know. Like, did I tell you about the that?
Speak louder. Project your voice. This is TV 101. Project your voice.
Yeah. Well, last weekend I went hiking, and
Where?
in the Fells.
Oh, I've been there. Did you get a ticket?
No.
You know, they're ticketing people if you go around the lake.
Really?
They're ticketing people. They tried that years ago because I was walking there
I thought-
15
no.
years ago.
My mom's friend told me that you could get arrested if you go off the track.
See, I like to run. I used to run the reservoir. And then they built a new treatment facility, and then you'd have to find a way around that like gate,
Yeah.
which I would, but it was difficult, but I would. And then they said that they would ticket people. But it's such a beautiful area, and I wrote a song about it because as the days get shorter, you'd have to really make sure you get out of there in time, because when that dark started falling, the dark in the fells falls, and there's bats and creatures of the night.
I actually been there one night, and it was quite creepy. Be thankful I had a flashlight, because I'm not too sure. There are deers. There must be deers in there.
Oh yeah, well, Stephanie Muccini Burke, the budget director of the Medford City Hall, Medford Hall, Medford, Mass. She found 2 dead deer, but she thinks someone dumped them there. So,
Ouch.
yeah.
Ouch. So there are deers in there.
Well, they found 2 dead ones last week. It was in patch.com. If you Google it, patch. That's our show for tonight. We're going to call Delastrito.
Yep.
Touch base with him. He's not expecting it, but that's okay. Just going to ask if he has a movie he'd like for next week. We got 4 minutes left. Maybe Frank's not home.
Yes. Oh.
We won't bother you, Frank. All right, we're not going to bother Frank. One more ring. Nope, he wasn't ready for us tonight. I just thought I'd surprise him.
But I did see, like an eagle.
An eagle in the fells? Like, what night was this?
This was on Saturday.
Do you take a bike over there, or do you walk?
I walk.
Oh, you walk from your house to
my house to the fells, all the way to. I do want to go all around the Skyline Trail, but I only go up to Wright's Tower. Now, where I went to Wright's Tower, overlooking 93. I saw this eagle that's just flying, and pretty much I was the only one up there. And
you should always go with a friend. You want to make sure, there's a lot of strange people these days.
That
throwing dead deers around the path,
But anyways.
What kind of psycho would do that?
Anyways.
Poor little deer. Bambi.
This eagle.
Bambi's revenge.
But this eagle actually was up on a tree line. I do have a picture of it. But the coolest thing, it looked at me, came down lower. So I'm like, oh, let's drop some bread. So I dropped some bread, and I was sitting up on the Wright's Tower's steps, and this bird was like bird was just going down there, and then I'm like, wow. And the bread's not even like 2 feet away. It's probably a foot away. So I got that close encounter.
Close encounter with a hawk, an eagle.
A hawk. I would probably say it's a hawk.
A hawk. Be careful it don't come down and like a vampire bat come after you. All right, so next week we will have some guests, maybe Steve Hunter, maybe Rob Promoti. I don't think I will be at Passim because I like doing my show, and I just don't like going to clubs anymore and finding a parking space and being in the cold. And it's nice to see my old friends, but I talk to all my friends on Facebook, so I don't have to leave the house.
I love the cold.
I know you do. And I like warmth, and that's why we have cold and warmth. That's what this show is about.
Hot and cold.
It is a beautiful new spaceship we have here at WinCAM. It's welcome to WinCAM. We have a new producer of the year. He directed the wonderful show that came earlier. And Hirsh Gardner was our guest tonight, the legendary Hirsh Gardner of New England. And we're going to have John Fannin and Hirsh in here in a future week. We intend to have some notable Boston rock and rollers. And again, the sad news, we will rerun our broadcast with the late John Lincoln Wright. He passed away this past weekend, only in his 60s, a very, very nice man. I'm so glad he was on visual radio and we can hear his voice again and cherish that warm human being. Sylvia Robinson, Moogie Klingman, Howard Tate, Hubert Sumlin, Dobie Gray. I'm in with the in crowd. That is Visual Radio for December 8th, 2011, the 31st anniversary of the passing of John Lennon.